We're a documentary town, right? Home of the True False Film Festival we were just talking about, and the School of Journalism will soon be home to the brand new Jonathan B. Murray Center for Documentary Journalism. Well, let's talk about this new film produced by Tyler Perry. Here is an excerpt from Spent, Looking for Change.
Every month we spend anywhere from $2,800 to $3,500.
Sometimes I'm left with hardly anything.
Sometimes it's nail biting. It's a roller coaster.
I have all this massive debt behind me, and it feels so overwhelming.
We all want to get the most out of life. A great family, an education, a business, a home.
It's a 3-bedroom/4.
But for a growing number of Americans, the price of getting ahead is higher because of a financial system that leaves millions underserved.
You just have to kind of tuck your chin to your chest and keep going forward.
Don't give up, even when you want to.
There's not ever the option to not make it work. I have to.
I think you'll agree it has the look and the feel of most in the documentary genre. The film runs close to 40 minutes, showing the plight of everyday Americans without traditional access to banks and struggling to make ends meet. It has a website full of details on the people who are featured in it. It has information on how you can host a screening. But hidden in all of that, hidden in the film even, is the fact that the whole thing was commissioned by and is a commercial for American Express. Documentaries often have a point of view, a point that they're trying to make. Producers of Blackfish wanted you to walk away upset about the treatment of whales at SeaWorld. The producers of Bully wanted you to walk away having a full understanding of the impact bullying has on family members, on communities, on the person bullied themselves. The difference here was this was commissioned by a corporate entity. American Express is behind the whole thing.
Well, right. I mean, the difference being that those films that you cited, like Blackfish or Bully, yeah, are selling an idea, and American Express is selling an idea to sell a product, and that's these prepaid cards that American Express is marketing. But transparency and the problem of transparency in filmmaking and documentary filmmaking is a subject that interests me a lot as a journalist, and I love documentary film, and it can be incredibly powerful, and that's great, and that's also a problem. It really assumes a very high level of sophistication on the part of the viewer to know who's made this, where did the money come from, why is this film being made? And this film doesn't show its hand until 38
minutes and 18 seconds into the 39 minutes and 56 seconds. So you have 40 minutes and it takes till 38:18 where it just comes up on a slide.
But they also, if you watch this on YouTube or Hulu or other places, there is information about the sponsorship and links back to American Express. I mean, I will grant there is a slippery slope anytime a company is paying for something that supports what they're trying to do, which in the end is to sell these prepaid cards as an alternative, I must say, though, to payday lenders, check cashing services, pawn shops. What difference would it make if this documentary were paid for by a nonprofit organization that endorsed exactly what American Express is trying to do? If they're trying to sell a public good, should we automatically discount it? I mean, I would prefer that news organizations, that independent documentary producers would do a documentary about this subject. But if they can't or won't, I don't necessarily have a problem with American Express paying for it.
Yeah, I think that just because American Express made it doesn't mean that it isn't serving an important purpose. I mean, journalists have tried for years and years and years to expose what's called the poverty industry, the payday loan companies, the rent-to-own companies. And what American Express has done is produced a product that addresses a problem in our society that doesn't discredit it. I'm not sure this is an example of a poor way to do this, but I am concerned a little bit about how sophisticated the media consumer is about sources of funding. And when you have very high quality filmmaking, as you see in this film, people are really swept up in it. I'm happy to hear Mike say that that's really clear on the website, and because I think that's important.
And on the website, if you look at the trailer for Spent, it has an American Express logo superimposed onto it. If you watch the film itself, it does not. Then again, if you go to YouTube or Hulu, in the information below the video itself, it has more of that information there.
I was just going to say, too, I mean, and I think maybe you might be getting to this, but we've talked several times in this program about the growing influence of so-called native advertising.
Go for it. That's where I was going to go next.
Well, so there are lots of newspapers and other media outlets that are now encouraging and setting up entire divisions that are designed to draft journalism-like products for sponsors. And it isn't always as crude as when we were criticizing The Atlantic a year or so ago for running a piece about Scientology. Something like this that serves a public good, and it might not necessarily be as transparent what the source is. Many news organizations now are seeing this as a source of revenue. So we're going to have more of this, not less.
Mm-hmm. So another question that I had about this, the 40-minute commercial here from American Express, Coca-Cola with the World Cup coming up starting in the next week, a 5-minute commercial there. Are we starting to see, do you think this is also a new trend, kind of as an offshoot of that native advertising, corporations not seeing the need or the same value in that 30-second spot, that perhaps they can take a more long-form approach to advertising and have a deeper connection with consumers that way?
Oh, I think that most people are seeing the longer form as having lots of value. But, you know, the thing about this film is it's not that different from some of these feature-length documentaries that you can see when you scroll through Netflix that have been made by political action committees or particular causes. So, you know, it's fair game for everyone.
And, you know, you have some that are kind of in the middle. I mean, you think about this Chipotle campaign that they did, and, you know, they actually built a little game around the Scarecrow character. Well, that is in some ways advocacy for admirable public policy, but it's also polishing Chipotle's image. So you can have mixed messages, and it is our job as journalists not just to provide a platform for that, but to talk about it, too.
Well, this is not exactly in my wheelhouse because it's about advertising.
Right, we are more editorial side of the house.
But the thing about the Chipotle thing that struck me, and Mike, maybe you can comment on this, is that it is so funny that I'm not sure it's effective advertising. At some point, it became so entertaining to me that I thought, you know, I don't know what happens at that juncture.
I mean, other people who've written about it, I'm not an expert in advertising either, but say that it was very effective in engaging people, especially young people, in sort of seeing this as an authentic issue that you could have fun with and still learn something about. And you clearly got people to spend a lot of time talking about genetically modified food and all of that they would not have spent with a story that you or I might have written about it.
Exactly. No, that's a good point.